Good morning everyone. My name is Himani Singh and I am here to discuss about the regulatory and ethical issues in tissue engineering. So these are some outlines of this PPT. First we will discuss about introduction, then scope of tissue engineering, then the ethical framework, and in the last conclusion. So let's start with introduction. In recent years, technological change has been led to many public and professional debates, from the legitimacy of genetic manipulation to environmental pollution, informed consent in medicine, privacy and confidentiality, and also the safety and desirability of tissue engineering. Given the large and increasing number of these moral discussion purpose to consider the ethical challenges of new technologies and to mention a proper framework to analyze them. In the field of technology and ethical discussion, there are two distinct types of interactions. One focused on the ethics of technical professionals in order to propose specialized code of ethics, and the other one focus on how could the ethics be extended from its traditional focus on human interaction to human technology interaction with regard to both human and non-human environment. Now let's discuss the scope of tissue engineering. Tissue engineering has been emerged as an interdisciplinary field that applies the basis of engineering, biomaterials, molecular cells biology, and regenerative medicines to produce a biocompatible and biodegradable tissue with efficient function in vivo. In early years, it was based on the cell and tissue. This artificial construct resembled the properties and function of natural tissue, which aimed to be replaced. To this end, three key elements included scaffolds, cells, and growth factors are essential for generating a new functional tissue. In this field, biomaterial science and engineering scientists try to design highly biocompatible and biodegradable 3D scaffolds with good mechanical strength, mimicking microenvironment of tissue to ensure the proper remodeling of the given tissue. Despite a large body of studies on the tissue engineering construct production, there are some issues that should be considered in order to generate optimal tissue engineering substitutes. So here are some applications of tissue engineering. First is skin tissue engineering, then bone tissue engineering, and then the cardiac tissue engineering. Let's discuss these one by one. So first is the skin tissue engineering. One of the most common application of tissue engineering is manufacturing of skin tissue engineered substitutes. There is an increasing advancements towards developing clinical applications of the skin constructs. Today there is a variety of commercially available skin engineered substitutes in order to specific clinical applications for treatment of burn injuries and wound healing. There are also products available in the market like epidermal, dermal, and epidermal substitutes, like composites of substitutes. Now come to bone tissue engineering. Engineered bone tissue present a potential for a clinical application such as suitable substitute for the use of conventional bone grafts. So basically they use for developing a bone grafts. The development of 3D scaffolds mimicking the actual in vivo microenvironments and composition of the bone is considered as a promising method to clinical practice as safe substitutes with no risk for disease transmission. One of the valuable and efficient method of bone tissue engineered is to develop vascularized 3D scaffolds in combination with essential signaling molecules and growth factors such as VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factor, and BMPs, bone morphogenic proteins, according to their angiogenesis and osteogenesis induction in order to manufacturing a functional bone as an application substitute. Now let's let's discuss about cardiac tissue engineering. Cardiac tissue engineering tries to repair or replace damaged heart muscle tissues to provide functionally engineered constructs. Basically, these tissue are used to replace the heart muscles. Basically, they are used to develop the heart muscles. Therefore, producing muscle cells from suitable source, including different types of stem cells like embryonic, mesenchymal and resident cardiac stem cells, and also included pluripotent stem cells responsible for the producing cardiomyocytes, fibroblast, neural cells, pacemaker cells, smooth muscle cells, and endothelial cells as essential component of a functional tissue in heart. Now, here is the ethical framework of tissue engineering. Human agency would be characterized from two aspects. Each one of them is important for ethical evaluation. Justification and action could be based on the externality of it and its internality. The ethical evaluation of action must also include a judgment of means by which we wish to attain our goals. Considering the different domain of tissue engineering and its application, the ethical challenges of the field could be classified based on the phases of the development. Therefore, not only there is a need for ethical analysis of tissue engineering research and therapy, but some aspects of issues are beyond the scope of research ethics and clinical practices. So, there are some appraisals of tissue engineering. The comprehensive model of tissue engineering appraisal should contain different anthropological, socio-economic, clinical, and research ethics. Ethical challenges of tissue engineering need to clarify some fundamental references frames that shape our perceptions of personhood, the human body, and its component, and their values. The development of tissue engineering also has some other social and economic consequences. The two major one of them are how each individual patient can access to tissue engineering and how this innovative method may impact the healthcare system. On the other hand, the development and applications of tissue engineering may also influence the healthcare system in two aspects: the condition for the application and reimbursement of tissue engineering and its location. Consequently, one of the main questions to be answered is how tissue engineering performs for the specific therapies in comparison with the existing treatments in terms of benefits and disadvantages. The development of tissue engineering with regards to the research ethics in some aspects is as same as other innovative field, and indeed discrete characteristics need specific attentions. In addition to general ethical principles of research such as social and scientific value, scientific validity, fair subject selection, risk benefit assessments, informed consent, and independent review, some additional elements deserve closer attentions. These domains includes like interest of the donor of the cell, and the importance and place of the animal in the clinical trials, the conduct of clinical trials, and the post trial events. In preclinical trial phase of tissue engineering, the use of animals and their role need major consideration. Finally, at the post-trial phase, and in order to evaluate the long-term performance of tissue-engineered therapies to monitor the advancement, the establishment of the registry could be an ethical necessity. Now come to final conclusion. Tissue engineering, like any other scientific activity, should be valued in proper ethical framework. Confronting these issues need a regulatory system. An established regulatory system in addition to safety and efficacy standards, and also policies for fair and just the use of new therapies may guarantee the proper progress of the field. Constitution that play a great role in policies writing, addressing the issues involving the process of tissue engineering, applying in clinical level of therapeutic purpose in order to protect humanistic values of medicine and the science. So these are some references, and thank you for listening me.